All
This
right.
conference will now be recorded.
So we are in the Gateway of Serving God, chapter 3, and again in Sepharia, in the Duties of the Hearts, it's page 250, and in Sepharia, it's 3, paragraph 9. Okay. And what we're going through over here is he explained that in order to serve Hashem properly, we need to have two main motivations. There needs to be the motivation coming from the Torah's commandments and also that of the seichel, that of the mind. And he's going through now 7 reasons as to why the Torah's commandments are not superseded, but why, in what way is the seichel understanding, is that going to take us beyond simply what the Torah says? In 7 ways. Hachamishi, and the 5th one is, Ki mitzvot Torah yesh tachlit lemisparan. When it comes to the mitzvot of the Torah, there is a boundary. There is a very set, clear amount of how many mitzvot are there. Vehein magiot ad sach yadua. They reach a very, very known amount, v'hu, which is taryag mitzvot, which is, as we call it, taryag. Taf is 400, resh is 200, yud gimel is 13, the 613 mitzvot. Now, actually, it's not, I'm sorry, 613. 400, resh is 200, and then yud gimel, right? So that's the famous 613, though it's not really so simple, right? Meaning, what are those 613 mitzvot? That famously you have the Rambam Maimonides who lists his, and Nachmanides who lists his, right? Which types of mitzvot are included, which are not included, which are considered to be one big grouping, which are listed individually. But we have this Masorah, this teaching that there are 613, and that's derived from the pasuk. Torah tziva lanu Moshe. Moshe commanded us Torah. And Torah, of course, is the gematria of 611. You have the tough resh, and then you have again 400, 200, and then you have vav hey, which is 65. That's 611. So how do we get Taryag mitzvot from Torah tziva lanu Moshe if Moshe commanded us 611? So the Gemara Makos explains, yes, 2 of those 2 mitzvot we heard directly from Hashem himself. That's the first 2 of the 10 commandments. Anochi Hashem Elokech, I'm Hashem your God. Lo yeh lecha Elohim achirim, you shouldn't have any other gods. So Torah tziva lanu Moshe. Torah 611, that Moshe commanded us. 2 we heard from Hashem, giving us our tally of 613. So however we're going to fill in all the slots to get to our 613, when it comes to the mitzvah of the Torah, they are measured. They are listed. We know what they are. There is a set boundary to that, which is 613. However, mitzvot haseichel, the mitzvot that come to us from our seichel, kimat she'ein lahen tachlit. They have no boundary. They have no boundary. Right? They're limitless. Ki b'chol yom Yosef ha'adam dat bahen. Every day, a person can gain greater knowledge and greater understanding of what he can do. Meaning, again, if the seichel is, with all Hashem has done for me, what can I do for Hashem? And what can I do? Well, what can I do for Hashem will certainly encompass my feelings towards Hashem, my gratitude, my love, my respect, my awe. And it will also include what can I do for Hashem's children? What can I do for other Jews? What can I do for humankind? What can I do for this world? And that is a never-ending list of the things that a person can do, right? We walk into the grocery store to do our shopping. Okay, So it's pretty simple when it comes to the laws of the Torah. Pretty simple. Make sure you pay for what you're taking. Don't do any damage to anything there in the store, right? Don't hurt anybody, right, in the store. Check the certification. Make sure that what you're buying is properly kosher. But when it comes to how I deal with people there in the store, that is, every aisle gives me new opportunities. Every person on the checkout line, the person who's checking me out, the person who's doing the bagging, the people I encounter on the way out. That is, it goes on every moment. Every moment is an opportunity. Do I smile at the person as I walk past them? It just goes on and on and on. So when it comes to the mitzvot, that is pretty limited. That is pretty set. When it comes to what he calls the mitzvot haseichel, that is really never ending. Yes.
Yeah, just thinking mathematically, like 613 is a discrete number. It's just a number, right? But the decimal places in between, like numbers from 1 to 2, there's like not quite an infinite amount, but there's so many different decimal places to get from one number to another.
Oh, interesting. So you want to say that's how we fill them in. That's nice. That's a nice idea, Gabriella. Right? So we can fill in, right, with each of those mitzvot. There's so much area and so many ways that we can embellish and fulfill it. Beautiful. The kol asher tosif hakarato, and the greater understanding, the more that we add to our understanding, our recognition, v'yavin tovot ha'elokim, and we have a better understanding, appreciation of the good that God is doing for us, v'otzem yechalto, and his limitless ability, umalchuto, and his sovereign reign over this world, Yosef lihi kanatlo. All that should add to my humbling myself before him. Ulihi shapel lifanav, right? To be more humbled before God. The alkain, and therefore, Ataroet David, alav shalom. We see King David, alav shalom, of blessed memory. Mitchanein el Elokim. He would plead with God. Laha'ir oto, to awaken him, to lift him up. Alehen, towards these understandings. Ulahasir masach hasichlut me'al einav, and to remove that mask of foolishness that is over our eyes, right? So he asked for this inspiration towards these mitzvot halevavot, these mitzvot, these obligations of the heart. As it says, gal einai, reveal my eyes, open my eyes, va'abita niflaot mitoratecha, that I should see the wonders of your Torah. Now, over here, when he says my eyes, we're not talking about the physical eyes, clearly. We're talking about my perception, my understanding, my recognition. That let my spiritual eyes, so to speak, fully grasp the wonders and act accordingly. Similarly, he says, Horeini Hashem derech chukacha lo shero. Horeini Hashem, teach us Hashem derech chukacha. Cheryl, do you have this book? Which book do you have? This one? This one? Okay. Give me 1 second. I'll tell you exactly where we are.
195?
No, Cheryl, you missed last week. We're in the middle of page 200.
Yikes.
Right in the middle of the page there, you'll see about 3/5 of the way down. It says towards the beginning, in parentheses, Tehillim Kufi Yutet. We have the pasuk Gal Einai Va'bitin Niflaot Mitoratecha, and we said that King David is asking Hashem to open up his spiritual eyes and see the wonders of his world, of his Torah, in order to enable him to fully appreciate God and to thereby acknowledge, etc. Horeini Hashem derech chukecha. Another pasuk. Horeini Hashem, teach me Hashem, or guide me, derech chukecha, the ways of your chukim. Now, a chok, we know those mitzvot that we don't understand the reason behind. It was not shared with us. Hadricheni, and guide me, binativ, in the pathways of mitzvotecha, of your commandments. Hat libi, El Eidotecha, turn my heart to your Eidut. So these are all towards your testimonies. These are all psukim that show that King David was asking Hashem, help me with my heart. Help me with my Chovot, Halevavot, with the responsibilities of my heart. Va'omer, and it says, L'chol tichla ra'iti kates, rachva mitzvatcha ma'od. Right? For everything I've seen that there are limits. But rachva mitzvatcha, when it comes to your mitzvot, that is rachva ma'od. That is so wide. That is so expansive. Ratzlama meaning, kol ma shenu chayavim me'avodatecha, all that we are obligated to serve you, God, al hatmadat tovatecha, for all the constant, consistent good that you do for us, ain kates lo. It is there is no end to it. It is limitless. Ain kates lo fanei tovatecha aleinu, because there is no end to the good, the means and the good that you are constantly showering upon us. Right? And I always say, right, the more we understand about the body, as science gets deeper and deeper, right, the more astounding it becomes, and just how miraculous it is that as I'm talking now, my hand is moving. What goes into that is just mind-blowing. But we just take it all for granted. And the more we understand, the greater our appreciation needs to be. Ukvar nemar al ksat haprushim. It's a beautiful concept. And it's been said about some of those perushim. Perushim is a term that he's using for those who have separated. Tzadikim is the best way, right? For those who have separated themselves from we'll call it the quagmire of this world and are living an exalted life. Shayu kol yemehem b'teshuva. All their days, they were always doing teshuva. Why? Right? Even for the mitzvot that I did yesterday, I need to do teshuva. Why? A mitzvah? Teshuva for that? And they shall you mechadshim b'chol yom teshuva ba'avor tosevet hakaratam bigdolat elukim b'chol yom. Let's say someone did something good for you, and you thank them. You thank them. The next day, you have a whole different level of understanding of the good they did for you. So then you realize, I called the person and said, oh, I wanted to thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Bye. Right? That's what I did yesterday. Now when I realize what they did, oh my gosh, I want to call to apologize for that flippant thank you that I gave. Right? And I call and I apologize. The next day, I find out how much more there was that this person did. So I got to call back the next day to apologize for the way I thanked him on the second day, as I apologize for the thanking on the first, right? The greater the appreciation, we realize that, wow, I really didn't step up the way that I needed to step up, right? Now that I understand what's going on over here. They were renewing every day teshuva, right? I hate to use the word repenting, right? Correcting. Ba'avor tosefet hakaratam, because now they had a tosefet, an added hakaratam, an added recognition. Bigedulat halukim, of the greatness of God, b'chol yom, that God did for them, does for us every day, v'kitzuram, and how they were katsar, how they were short, how they did not, they came up short in terms of what they owed God for the past. Again, like King David said, Yom liyom, each day, day by day, each day is a whole new day. Yom liyom yabia omer, day by day yabia, I speak omer, I have what to say. Right? I'm able to have a greater understanding each day more than the previous day. V'layla l'layla yichavedat. And every night, by the next night, yichavedat, there is this added dot. There is this added understanding. V'omer, and it says, palge mayim yardu einai al lo shamru toratecha. Right? Palge mayim, streams of water. Yardu einai, my eyes have given forth. Alo shamru toratecha. But the way he's bringing this is ingenious. It's not like a simple thing. Oh, as we see, David was crying. King David was crying that he didn't do enough, right? But the way the Halevavot is understanding this is, I'm crying about my eyes not shamru Toratecha. It doesn't say Alo shamarti Toratecha. It doesn't say, right, streams of water, my eyes have dripped because I did not keep your Torah. What's Alo shamru? That they did not keep the Torah. I'm sorry? So what does it mean, the eyes? Remember we had before, Gal einai va'abita neflot mitoratecha. Open my eyes so I could see the wonders of your Torah. So we're talking about the spiritual eyes, right? So therefore, my eyes, because they did not keep your Torah, meaning they did not have the full perception that they were supposed to have. And that's what he asked before, open my eyes that I can see. We're talking about not the physical eyes, but the spiritual eyes, to be aware of all the incredible good that Hashem is constantly doing.
So that goes back to the concept that the mitzvot from the sechel are limitless, basically. Because
Correct.
every day you find something
Exactly.
new, you realize
Exactly.
more deeper and deeper and wider and wider.
Exactly. Right. That's what, as Leah said. So this is really the conclusion of this number 5, in the way that the mitzvot haseichel supersede the mitzvot of the Torah. The mitzvot Torah are very limited. It's the tally of 613, whereas the mitzvah of the seichel, that is an ever expand. Right, we talk about in physics an ever expanding universe. Well, the mitzvah haseichel is an ever expanding universe. Right. Hopefully, our appreciation and our love and our acknowledgement and our humility before God is ever expanding, and the opportunities are also ever expanding. V'hashishi, and the 6th way that the mitzvot of the seichel transcend the mitzvot of the Torah. I don't want to say that it right? In addition to having the obligation from the mitzvah of the Torah, the mitzvah of the seichel brings it to a whole other level. Ki ha'avodah shehi min haTorah, that avoda which comes, the service which comes from this Torah's teachings and obligations, hi biyacholet ha'adam. That's within our power to do it. Kishehu mechavein ba, when we focus on doing it, umizdamein eleha, and we prepare ourselves to properly fulfill it, eina nimnaat me mivukasha, right? It's not held back from us and that which we are seeking to do, right? It's there for us to do. right? Someone texted me, they want to get a pair of tefillin. Thank God they have it. I told them I get tefillin. Okay. I sent them the email of a rabbi in Yerushalayim who sells wonderful high level tefillin at a very good price, right? And they emailed me back, oh, good, we spoke to him and it's on its way already, right? That's how it is. When it comes to the mitzvah of the Torah, if we want to do it, we can do it, right? It's humanly possible to do. However, ha'avoda shehi min hasechel, that avoda that comes from this recognition, this soul, mind recognition, lo tikamer la'adam. A person cannot go up level to level in that. Ella b'koach gadol ve'ezer me'et elokim yitbarach. It takes a lot of effort on the part of the person, but that won't do it. A person also needs what we call siyata dishmaya. Ezer me'eta elokim. Siyata dishmaya is a very common term, at least in the Torah yeshiva world. It's Aramaic. Siyata l'sayeya is to help. Siyata dishmaya, the help from the heavens. We need, as he puts in Hebrew here, Ezer me'et ha'elokim yitbarach. Right? You need that divine push. You need that divine help. Right? We take one step, and then we say, famously, Rav Chaim says, the pasuk says, Hashem tzilcha al yad yaminecha. God is like your tzel. Tzel is shade or a shadow. As you move, God moves, right? That when you take the step, then you take the step toward, God takes the step toward. You make the effort, God will send the success. Habala taher, Messiah oto, we're told. Person wants to purify, wants to do good. What happens? Messiah oto. The person gets helped in that direction. Ki yicholet ha'adam kitzara mehasiga. Because the ability of a person, kitzara, is limited. It's short. Literally, it's short mehasiga, from attaining this, from reaching this. Right? Unless there is this help, this siyata d'shmaya, this Ezer me'et elokim yitbarach, this help from God, one can't get there. And therefore we see it's on a whole different level. One is, yeah, you can do it. The other one is you've got to partner with God. God needs to, and when we partner with God, God partners with us and helps us. Va'al and therefore Ataroa David, once again we bring from King David, David HaMelech alav shalom, Meshiv Tamid Hatichina Lekel, he's constantly offering this supplication, lakel, to God, la'azro aleha, to help him in this, and where is that? Ba'ashrei tamimei derech. In the chapter of Tehillim that begins, Ashrei, fortunate are those tamimei derech, who have this complete derech, this complete path. And there, actually, what's famous about Tehillim Kuf Yutet, about Psalms 119? Good. It's the longest one by a lot. Kuf Yutet has many chapters in Tehillim go through the Aleph Bet. First pasuk begins with Aleph, next one begins with Bet. This goes through 8 psukim of Aleph, 8 psukim of Bet, 8 psukim of Gimel, 8 of each of the 8 times 22, 176 pasukim. 176 pasukim. So interesting. That's a very
Specific number.
yes. 176 is the amount of psukim in the longest chapter of Tehillim. I'm pretty sure. Let me double check.
Is the parsha that starts with an N?
Yes, Naso. Parsha Naso, which is the second parsha in Bamidbar, is the longest parsha of the Torah and has 176 psukim. And Masechet Shabbos, the tractate of Shabbos, which is the longest. Is it Shabbos or is it Baba Basra? So they'll check that, right? Has 176 daf, right? Now, what is the magic of 176? So I'm just surmising. I'm sorry? Well, let's look at it like this. It's the Aleph Bet, which is 22 letters, right? And the Aleph Bet we know is we say me Aleph Ataf, that is all encompassing, right? And it's times 8. And well, 8 is going beyond the natural. 7 is the natural, and 8 is where we go beyond that natural, right? We're in the month of Kislev, so we have Hanukkah, right? And that is the 8 days, right? We went beyond the natural. Brit Milah, we have the physical body, and then we go beyond the physical with the Brit Milah. Shmini Atzeret, we had all the holidays of Sukkot, comes Shmini Atzeret. There are no mitzvot particular to Shmini Atzeret. It's going beyond the physical, right? Even Shavuot is also called Atzeret. And again, over there are no set mitzvot. We have customs. We stay up all night. We eat cheesecake, right? We stay up all night eating cheesecake. We do both, right? But there are no real, right? We don't have a shofar. We don't have a matzah. We don't have a sukkah. We don't have a lulav, right? And that also is coming after all the sevens. We had the 7 days of Pesach, and then we had the 7 weeks of the Omer, right? All those mitzvot, and then comes Atzeret. So 8 is going beyond, right? So if the Aleph Bet is encompassing all that which exists, Aleph to Taf, and then we need to take that up to the level of 8, then perhaps that's an understanding in the treasure of 176. Why the longest parak in Tehillim, the longest parsha of the Torah, the longest tractate in the Babylonian Talmud is all 176. But that's what David is constantly asking Hashem for his help. Yes.
I feel I'm a little concrete, this is so high level stuff. But here you're saying that the man cannot do this, the expansion without help of God. But the example you talked about before, like the supermarket, right? How you treat people. This is something like very daily.
Yes. Good point, Leah. Yes. So there's much that we can do, but when we try to climb level in our understanding of God and our connection to God and what He's asking of us and the way that I can do it, yes, in a practical sense, right? Like I said, the supermarket offers, right, myriad opportunities. But when we're talking about really ascending in our connection, our appreciation, our knowledge, our humbling before God. So in order for us to gain, it's the idea, let's say, of Kabbalah, right? Kabbalah, right? We call it mysticism, but actually it's a more intimate understanding of God, right? Well, God has to be willing to share that with us, meaning that in order for me as an individual to understand it, I have to be worthy of getting that understanding. Famously, when we were in danger of the Talmud being forgotten, so it needed to be written down, even though it's Torah Sheba'al Peh. It's meant to be the oral Torah. You're not allowed to write it down, but they had to write it down so it wouldn't be forgotten. And there are two main components to that Torah Sheba'al Peh, that oral Torah. There is the halachic component, and there also is that more Kabbalistic understanding of God component. So to write down the halachic component is not a problem at all. But that other aspect, because that was taught widely, but the other more personal aspect, that a Rebbe would teach certain select Talmidim, students, who were deserving, worthy of hearing this, who could be trusted with that. So when it's going to be written down, how do we keep that exclusivity that it really needs? And that's where we have the Agadata, that it's written down in a coded, C-O-D-E-D, in a coded manner. It's stories, it's parables. Very often someone learns that, what is it talking about? This doesn't make any sense. But actually, yes, that's correct. It doesn't make any sense to you. It wasn't meant to make sense to you, right? So we have all these different layers of the Torah, of the understanding of God. And that's where I think he's saying, Leah, that we can't get there on our own, that we need this divine help. Yes, Gabrielle?
I was just going to say, I was thinking about it like in a sham and a guf. Like you need both. And it's like the Torah Shabbat and the Torah
Yeah.
Shabbat, like you need both.
That is correct. Yes. The Torah Shebechtam is compared to a neshama and to a guf, right? And that is why we have the custom. That's one of the ideas behind the custom that we have, that when a person dies, we learn Mishnayot. We learn Mishnah. It's not just that Mishnah and neshama are the same letters, but they actually it's the Mishnah that animates, that gives life to the Torah Shebechtav. And it's the neshama that gives life, animates the physical body, and not just the physical body, but even the living body, which could also just be living like an animal is living without a neshama, but it's the soul that gives it that whole purpose. Good. V'hashvi'i, and the seventh aspect that we have, how the mitzvot haseichel, how they transcend and give a whole different vista beyond that which the mitzvot of the Torah do. Ki avodah, the service of Hashem, keshehi min Torah bilvad, when it's just based on the Torah's commandments, ein adam batuach ba'atzmo shlo yikashel ba. No one can be confident, self-assured, shelo yikashel ba, that he won't stumble with it. Ki koach ha'ta'ava, because we all have our physical, more desires. Orev la, that is an ambush on a person. Umitzapeh, and it waits, ha'itot, for those times, shehu mit'aleim mimena, where the person will not be focused on it. And then those are our times of weakness. And that's where we don't necessarily do all the things that we know we're supposed to do. Aval ha'avodah shehi me'ha'arat ha'sechel, but the avodah that comes from this ha'arat ha'sechel, that comes from this hit-over-root, this uplifted state, this arousal, this motivation from the sechel, batuach hu mehikashel ba umechato. There, that their person is assured they will not stumble. Why? Ki hanefesh einu nimshechet eleha, and here we'll see what Leah, just what you asked before. A person, a nefesh, is pulled to this only el la'acher heimit ta'avat hagufot, when one has subdued, literally killed, the ta'avat, the desires of the gufot. V'hadvarat hasechel aleha, and the seichel has completely overwhelmed that. The shimusho ba kichaftzei ritzono, that it is driving it, it is leading it as it wants, according to its will, the will of the soul. Va'alkein hi avoda muftechet mi kashel ba. Right? Therefore, that is an avoda, a service that is that is guaranteed from stumbling it. Uba'ala shamor menachet, and the owner of that is guarded min chet, as the pasuk says in Mishlei, lo yunet litzadik kol on, that there will not befall to the tzaddik, right, any mishap, any falling off. Okay, so clearly, Leah, coming back to what you said before, that's a level that that we can only hope for and dream about and try to get there, I should say, right? But clearly, to reach that point, we need a little, we need his help. We need his dire, desperate help. Okay. Now, the next thing we'll pick up next week is, though at the same time, right, we need that hitorut of the Torah. Even though we just said there are 7 ways that this other hitorut of the Seichel transcends that of the Torah, but don't forget that you need that foundation, and he's going to go through another 7 reasons as to why it's clear that we need to have that foundation. Right, and that will take us through Perek Gimel, the 3rd chapter. Okay, good. So we will start. Someone have a pen or a pencil handy? Thank you so much.
Number 13 is what we have to start at for us. No?
Yes, so it's Safari, where is it? 3 what?
13.
13.
Good. And Cheryl, in your book, we are 202. And Gabriella and Leah, in your book, 254. And in my book, Ach Ma'alot HaTorah. Okay, good. We'll call it over here, everybody. Shavua Tov, a good week, everybody. Mm-hmm.